Hey guys, Ivan here, and in this video we got a couple of very interesting bodybuilding updates. Before we start with this video, I want to wish all of you guys a happy new year. I wish you more gains in all aspects of life, not just muscular gains, but those ones mainly. But seriously, I wish you to stay healthy, to stay happy, and if you're gonna prep this year, to enjoy the process of prep, to enjoy the stage, or if you're just trying to grow or get leaner for the summer, whatever, I wish you all success with that, guys, and you enjoy the process. Anyways, let's start with this video. Yesterday, I didn't make a video. I actually went to a party with my girlfriend. We got drunk and we had a lot of fun, to be honest. That's something I do maybe like twice a year, something like that. I hope you guys also had fun last night, but that's it for me. Now I'm gonna be focused on YouTube, on bodybuilding and all that good stuff. So let's start. The first physique update, the first update we got is from Derek Lunsford, who is, as you guys know, prepping for the Arnold Classic 2025, and he's about 8 weeks out at this point right here. Now, you guys probably know that he's at this point working with Chris Cormier, probably also Chris Aceto. We don't really know who is his coach as of yet. That's the rumor on the street. It's not AJ Sims, it's actually Chris Aceto apparently, but he'll probably announce it soon enough. As far as his trainer and posing coach, it is Chris Cormier. Now, do I think Derek Lunsford is a bad poser? Do I think posing is what put him in the third place last year? Oh man, I just said last year. 2024 is last year. What Derek did back in 2024, right? So in my opinion, the reason he plays so low, I don't think it was posing. I think his posing is fine. You know, the reason why he plays so low was the coaching thing, probably, or whatever he did by himself. I don't know if Hunter made a mistake. Maybe it's Derek who did something on his own. I doubt that. I think it's a coaching mistake because he wasn't in great condition and his legs were down in size. And I'm not saying that it's Honey Rambo to be blamed for this. It happens. Like, you don't nail every single peak with every single person. I mean, he still plays third at the Mr. Olympia, which is a success, top 3 at the Mr. Olympia. But for somebody who just won the Mr. Olympia the year before, it's not really a success. And I'm sure it didn't feel like success from his perspective. I mean, he lost his title, and not just by 1 spot, but by actually 2 spots. So it must have hurt. It definitely wasn't a good thing that happened to him, but it is what it is. Now, as I was saying, I don't think the posing was the problem, but do I think his posing can be improved? I think anybody's posing can be improved. Like, maybe he doesn't need to change his mandatory poses too much. Abs and thighs, I think that can be tweaked and done better. But other than that, I think he's a very good poser. He knows how to hit the poses the best way that suit his physique. However, if he, practices posing more and, perfects the ability to really hold the poses and not move an inch and can go for rounds and rounds, that can definitely be a huge help. Only if it is extremely close, though. Like, if he destroys everybody, he can be a pretty bad poser. He can still get away with a win. I mean, he can, because his posing is that good. It's good enough, for sure. For somebody else who is a terrible poser, you can lose to somebody who looks worse than you. But Derek, I think his posing is good enough. But again, do I think something can be improved? And can he really present his physique a little bit better? Probably, yeah. I mean, Chris Cormier has been around for a long time. He worked with a whole bunch of pros over the past 20 or even 30 years. He has experience, he has an eye for this. So now that he is helping Derek, I'm pretty sure Derek is going to show up better. But mainly depends on Derek's new coach, how well he will do at the Arnold Classic. And Samson is admitting it. Like, he doesn't say that he believes he's going to win this easily. Like, he knows he needs to be at his A game in order not to lose to Derek. Derek can win the Arnold Classic very easily. So I guess, again, it depends on what kind of package Derek brings and also what Samson is going to show up looking like. If Samson is slightly off and Derek is on, yeah, Derek can win. But is that going to be the case? I don't think so. I doubt that. And is Derek going to be improved muscularity-wise, conditioning-wise? We'll see. But here we can see he's posing a little bit. And, it's good. It's good as usual. But as we're getting closer to the show, we have 8 more weeks. As he puts more work in, I'm pretty sure this is gonna look better. Hopefully, if there is anything Chris can do, I hope he's gonna teach Derek how to maybe flex his quads harder to show more separation. And maybe he can do the same thing like with his delts, with his pecs, with his abs, basically his whole front body. And also maybe he can help him, pose with the legs a little bit differently to make them appear bigger. So if there is room for improvement for Derek as far as posing, I think Chris Cormier can actually help Derek look better. We'll see 8 weeks from now, but I'm pretty sure Derek has something he wants to prove. So I'm pretty sure in 8 weeks from now, Derek is going to look his absolute best ever, potentially. Alright, the next physique update we got is from Blessing Avoribu. And we recently saw a physique update from Blessing from the front, in the front double bicep, but in this one, we can see his legs. That's what he's trying to show us here. Because, as you guys know, Blessing's legs were his weakest point by far. Everything else was actually pretty freaking good, like his upper body, from the front or from the back, and even the side thickness. This guy is massive, he has a really nice structure, small waist, wide shoulders, big arms, big chest, big back. Conditioning, he knows how to bring conditioning. He failed a few times, he's not very consistent with it, but he can bring conditioning. The only flaw, really, that he had that separated him from being like a top 10 Olympian, he won the New York Pro. I mean, he still placed very, very high, but at a Mr. Olympia against the big names, the top guys, he never really shined through, and the reason, again, was the leg size. I mean, take a look at his biceps, man, like, they are insanely freaking big, like, those biceps are one of the biggest biceps in the IFBB, probably. And like the waist is super small for somebody with that kind of mass. And I believe he's going to be much bigger the next time we see him on stage. But again, the legs were a problem. Not just like the overall size of the legs. Like he had glutes, he had side thickness, but the outer sweep, that's what he was lacking. And I would say the overall thickness and density. And apparently the reason for this is that he had some issues with his knees. And so he wasn't able to train very heavy with his legs. But if you ask me, that's really not an excuse. Because I saw so many guys respond so well to giant sets. And if you're doing giant sets, you're using like, 30% of the weight that you would use if you were doing like straight sets. But you do 5 exercises in a row and you just pump it up. And I've seen guys build up their legs even when they don't have the issues with the knees or whatever. Even when they're able to train really heavy and nothing is happening, they switch to giant sets and their legs grow and they stay big forever, basically. I've seen that happen. So that's what I suggest to everybody who's struggling with the leg size. And I don't know if Blessing did that. I don't know what he did in the offseason, but in this physique update, it seems like his legs are bigger, actually. How much bigger, though, that's pretty much impossible to tell. We won't know until we actually see him on stage, until he actually gets shredded. And since he bulked up so hard, I don't know if his conditioning is gonna be, perfect. Right? I don't know. Like, usually when you do a really hard bulk, it takes you a couple of seasons, maybe like 2 or 3 shows in like 10, 12 months, and you go back to the off-season after the show, but you stay leaner, and then you go down body fat percent, and then you maybe do another off-season without getting too fat, and maybe like the 3rd show you do, you get really conditioned. But the first one after a heavy bulk, usually the conditioning is not going to be 100%, but even if his conditioning is not exactly perfect, with the leg improvements, he can still do pretty well. Again, I don't know, like I have to wait until I see him on the stage, shredded, until I see what is actually beneath all this water and fat. Maybe he did gain muscle, but he will lose it as he diets down. But honestly, my assessment is that he actually did progress the legs. It's impossible to tell for sure, but it seems like that to me. I think he gained some muscle in the legs. We'll see actually in the end, but right now that's what I think. If you guys see it otherwise, tell me down below, but let's wait and see, honestly. Like, I think the progress is made. I don't know what he did differently in the off-season. Maybe it was the giant sets, maybe something else. But whatever he implemented, it seemed to have worked. And just taking some time during the off-season, staying in a caloric surplus for a long time, that right there, only that is a huge thing, even without changing the training. So I don't know what he did, but it seems like his legs did grow. We'll see in the end. Whatever you guys think, tell me down below. Alright, the next thing we got is, well, very impressive physique update from Hunter Labrada. Why is it so impressive? Is he looking much improved? Is he much bigger, much leaner, whatever? No, none of that. He does look amazing, but why this is so impressive is because of his caption here, which is rather unbelievable. I mean, let's take a read. So he says, really happy with where I'm sitting right now, coming up on 12 weeks of being on true TRT. 200 milligrams per week with 0 GH, peptides, or any other funny business. Going to continue with this for at least another 5 weeks. And at the end of that period, I'll assess. As far as nutrition goes, I've been eating 5 meals a day, with one of them being a healthy-ish free meal. Weight is hovering between 278 and 281 fasted. Guys, do you find this hard to believe? Because personally, I do. I am not saying he's lying. I don't see why he would be lying about this. But it is unusual for somebody to look this good after 12 freaking weeks on nothing, pretty much. This is natural, guys. Hunter Labrada is natural right now. I mean, yeah, TRT, but like he wouldn't be able to bring his natural test levels anyway. So he is probably maintaining his test levels at, normal range, natural range. He says it's a true TRT, so he's probably tracking his test levels and he's taking as much as he needs to stay at a healthy, reasonable level of testosterone. So maybe it's a high normal range, but I don't think he has super physiological levels of testing his body right now, and he's been doing this for 12 weeks. Now, of course, he competed at the Mr. Olympia, so he probably took everything for the Mr. Olympia, and it stayed in his system for another 5-6 weeks after the show. So really, he's been on TRT for 6 weeks, but he still didn't take anything in those first 6 weeks. And still, I mean, guys, after 12 weeks of being natural, without even any GH, any peptides, anything, just true TRT, I mean, it's crazy if he's able to look like this on just that. Honestly, I don't think he would be lying, but if somebody else told me this and looked like that, I would definitely be very suspicious. I would be having a hard time buying it. And he's gonna stay on TRT for another 5 weeks. I mean, why would he even go back on the cycle if he looks like this after 12 freaking weeks on just TRT? So maybe he could just, stay on TRT the entire off season and just take stuff when he's prepping. I don't know which show he's planning on doing. He usually does the shows later in the year before the Mr. Olympia. He's probably planning on doing that this year again. This year, not next year, this year, 2025. So he'll probably start a cycle after 5 weeks from now, and he's going to do an off-season with it and then go into the prep. So, of course, that sounds very logical, and, it's definitely a proper way to do things. I love it. I love that he's doing it that way. He's definitely health-focused. He's going to refresh his body, make it more receptive to stuff. When he starts taking it, his body is probably going to respond really well. I mean, when you are healthy, everything just clicks, everything works better, but also his sensitivity to stuff is probably going to be higher. So, as you can see, if he's like this right now, like on TRT, like he has the hardness, he has the fullness, he has really good conditioning and a lot of mass. Basically, he's over 280. Guys, 280 with this kind of conditioning, with this hardness on TRT, that's crazy. Can you hear the fireworks in the background? Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, Hunter is looking amazing, crazy for this part of the year, of the prep of the off season, if what he's saying is true. I don't see why he would be lying about this. I don't think he's lying, but it's hard to believe because he looks extremely good for only a TRT dose of tests. So crazy stuff, man, crazy stuff. Maybe this is going to be a really good year for Hunter if he continues to stay this good without taking anything, and then when he starts taking it, he's going to blow up, man. He's probably going to bring something special this year, 2025. Anyways, whatever you guys think, tell me down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. For more content in 2025, stay tuned, guys. Subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. All the best, and bye-bye.